Have you ever been in a conversation with someone discussing movies? You go back and forth on a few titles you enjoy, and they bring up a film you've never even seen? Immediately, your whole I like movies and I'm a cinephile rhetoric goes out the window, all because you've never seen The Godfather. Welp, that's what this series is a mission to see. Every classic, worthwhile movie available to watch, so I can finally say, stop asking me to watch. Okay, so Night of the Living Dead is apparently the zombie movie, okay? Which is perfect timing because I've been in such a zombie mood lately. This film has popularized a lot of the common tropes that we see today with zombies, like them eating flesh or shooting them in the head could be the only way to properly kill them. And it's funny because they never actually even say the word zombie in the film. They often refer to these creatures as those things or ghouls or maybe even a flesh eater. The 4:3 aspect ratio in the black and white really helps with the horror, I think. It helps with this kind of claustrophobia. A lot of shots suggested that. And also with the black and white, it helped them kind of get away with some things that they probably wouldn't have gotten away with on color. Like what the zombies were eating that was supposed to be human flesh was, I'm pretty sure, just roasted ham with like chocolate syrup on top of that, which obviously would look goofy in color. They would have to rework that and maybe it wouldn't look as consistent as blood, but in black and white it's perfect. It gives you enough to make a bunch of things in your head, but it doesn't give you too much, so you could be like, oh well, that's clearly not flesh, you know, and that's not how flesh drips. That's not blood at all. Also, with the 4:3 in black and white, you guys might want to like just say and be, oh, well, it's 1968, so of course they're gonna do 4:3 in black and white. Guys, stop it, okay? 1968, 2001 A Space Odyssey came out, bro. Do you know how good that movie looks? That is one of the best looking movies I have ever seen. I think that a lot of those choices, 4:3, black and white, were either budgetary, more than likely probably because of the budget. We got some great performances from the extras. I gotta say, you know, at the time when zombies aren't like a cultural norm, for so many like extras, you know, people who aren't even like, I don't see why they would care as much, especially for like a low budget film like this. But they were really giving it their all, man. They were really doing the zombie thing up, okay? They really look like zombies. They had this stiffness to their walk. I mean, again, zombies don't exist. So me even saying that they look like zombies is because the look that they did was just replicated throughout so many years. To see the original, it's kind of weird. From our lead actors, we got some theatrical playwright performances, I guess.
He grabbed me and he ripped at me. He held me and he...
I don't know, a lot of the acting was giving, hey, there are a bunch of people in the back row that I have to act for, so let me just be really showy and like throw my arms in the air and like cry but not actually show any tears. It's very weird. To be honest, Barbara, I really wasn't with her performance at all. Ben though, oh my god, he came out swinging. Ben was probably my favorite actor from this whole thing. And again, guys, this is 1968. You have to keep in mind, this is the first time a black man has been in a role where he hasn't been like shining shoes or like played by a white dude in blackface, you know? He has lines and tons of lines, and he says all of these lines with conviction, and it's never like a weird thing, you know? Like there's not a character in the story that's like secretly racist. I didn't pick that up. You know, like racism has nothing to do with it. He's just a normal person, and it's just so weird to see them be so progressive when a lot of the films around that time were just terrible, just awful. Throughout a good portion of the movie, you hear this government broadcast on the radio, I guess giving like instructions on how to treat these creatures and what the government knows. And it's kind of scary because it's like, damn, they don't even know either. It's interesting because in the broadcast, they talk about it like it's a murdering epidemic, like just a bunch of people just decided to murder a bunch of people. And that's, I guess, a way to look at it. I mean, if it just happened, sure. And then, you know, something like that's never happened before, sure. But it kind of reminds me of the scene in 28 Days Later, where they were talking about, hey, will things get back to normal?
This is what I've seen in the 4 weeks since infection. People killing people. Which is much what I saw in the 4 weeks before infection and the 4 weeks before that and before that, as far back as I care to remember, people killing people. Which, to my mind, puts us in a state of normality right now.
I think a lot of these things boil down to, like, your neighbor could be a monster, okay? And what does that mean? You know, sure, you know, your neighbor can literally next door be a monster on a larger scale, and especially back when this film was released. I think it's kind of referencing like a lot of Cold War stuff. There were a lot of things going around with like nuclear bombs at the time, and there was this fear of like a fallout and what it could actually do to people. And yeah, there are monsters all around us.
Night. Of the living dead.